Hi Pisces, welcome to your end of June 2017 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. As I've been saying to all the signs, and you're the last sign I'm doing, which is unusual. Usually I do you one of the first ones. Please understand that the reason I don't shuffle on camera is because of the position of my camera, plus I can't shuffle. So I just kind of put the cards in little piles and I pick from them. And this is a general reading that, can cover any particular area of your life. If you're interested in a private reading, you can go to rainamoonastrology.com or click on the link below. But, the other thing I wanted to say is to look at these cards from a more symbolic point of view than to really want to attach particular people to them. But you can do that too, and it'll work because synchronicity will make it work if it's if it's meant to be some kind of a message to you specifically. However, even in that case, there has to be some kind of understanding of what exactly a message entails. Does it mean just sit back and eat bonbons and wait for things to happen to you, or do you still have to make inspired choices in your life? I think the latter, for sure. Okay, so I've picked the cards, and I can't help but notice I got 4 cups, which is your thing because you're a water sign. So this could also involve, if it's not Pisces, it can involve Scorpio or that other water sign, which is Cancer. And at the heart of this reading, we have this man. And yes, I'm going to call him a man. Okay? And he is a water sign. This could be an older man. This could even be a father. Maybe his son isn't in water, but he has that compassionate nature, that person you can cry on their shoulder. They are very mature emotionally. They don't use emotions like weapons. They don't try to manipulate others to do what they want them to do with their emotions. They use their emotions to be an empath, to be somebody that you can really count on and feel comforted by. For some, this could be the father of your child. And this person may even be chronologically older than you, but they certainly are emotionally mature. In the past, we have the Ace of Cups, so this might be a new relationship. And maybe you have been dealing with people who are more immature. And so this is kind of a noteworthy thing. As I said, this is a general focus. So if this is a business situation, you might have a boss who is kind of a compassionate person, and you really have an affinity for this person because you're both on the same page. You both are kind-hearted people. You don't want to hurt other people. You may have recently gotten a job, and this person, and it's a job that is kind of like something that is what you have wanted emotionally. And, it connects to you on that level. It's not just, okay, I'm going in and I'm collecting a paycheck. You really feel like you put your soul into whatever it is that you're doing. And you have this boss, you attracted this boss that is also like that. And maybe it's because of the nature of the work. And so another possible interpretation with the Ace of Cups, it could be getting pregnant. And maybe your boss is understanding of that. What is coming in now is the Seven of Cups. So there can be some confusion. In the case of a situation with maternity leave, you may feel like, I don't know if I should even go back there, period. Because usually, at least if it's in America, it's not that long. And you may have to you may only get like a month or whatever, and you may feel like you want to quit altogether, but you're not sure. For other people, if this is a relationship situation, you may have met somebody who kind of exemplifies the qualities that I mentioned with the King of Cups, but you still have a lot of options, and you might be pursuing your options. I mentioned sometimes to Pisces about being fickle emotionally, because you are a mutable sign. And so you really are a lot different than Scorpio. Scorpios tend to be very black and white. They either love someone or they don't. They don't have a lot of gray area. You have a lot of gray area. And I'm always so grateful that Pisces people understand me as well as they do. That I can't remember if I've ever gotten any Pisces person who's ever been offended by me saying that, and I appreciate that, because it's not meant in a malicious way at all. It's really meant to get you to think about that. Maybe you're not like that, because you might have a moon in Scorpio, and you might be a lot more understanding of what it is that you want in a partner. But, you know, saying someone is fickle means that they're inconstant in their affections, or do you say affection? But it should be affection, right? But if you think about it, it can also be about being flexible, not just being like, oh, I can only love this person, but kind of like saying, you know, love the one you're with. You know, that might be your theme song. And also just the fact that you are very understanding of other people. So you're not the kind of person that is necessarily all that, I was going to say the word discerning, but that's not really exactly what I mean. You're very welcoming, and you're very able to see good things in everyone, you know. So it's like other people can get quite judgmental and say, oh yeah, I don't like this quality in this person, so that person, you know, totally is off the list. But you might be a lot more open to the good qualities in somebody, and you might see them more readily than somebody else would see them. For obvious reasons, that may cause problems, because you may throw away a very good relationship because of your tendency to kind of either be very susceptible to the influence of another person, as well as even being confused. I mean, this card is, I think, actually connected to Pisces and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. So that sense of confusion stems from what Neptune represents, which is fantasy sometimes. And fantasy happens when people over-idealize situations. The higher message is the Nine of Wands, and I think in this case it's almost like a directive to say to you, have boundaries. Have boundaries when you are dating. So in other words, if you're dating someone, and you are if you don't want to be exclusive, then you need to tell the other person, right now I'm just dating around. I want to see who I'm most compatible with. But that's one of the issues that comes up a lot with Pisces, is having very porous boundaries. And this involves, you have to learn how to say no better. This is something you share with Libra. And you also have to learn how to understand when somebody is being too aggressive and they're trying to control you. You may easily fall into that situation where you allow somebody to accept control, because you do tend to be a very passive type of a sign. the symbol of Pisces is two fish swimming in opposite directions. So you have that sense of confusion may be kind of like normal for you. And as a result, you can be a magnet for the type of person who represents, I mean, like let's say a fire sign like Aries, who is very, who might even be quite bossy, or some other type of person who is actually very controlling, and you abdicate your responsibility by allowing this person to tell you what to do because it feels safe to have someone who seems to know exactly what they want when you may be a little bit confused sometimes. But you have to be able to see the red flags when someone is trying to overstep their boundaries, because that's how they get control over you. And this is the same thing if in the workplace, is that you have to, you know, if somebody is abusive, you can't let these things go. It doesn't mean that you are rude, but you have to call them out, and you have to say, you know, I'm not going to work under these conditions. I need to have a respectful employer. This person would be your employer, and he would not be like that. So it isn't that. It may have something to do with another, maybe it has to do with like a coworker or something who is acting aggressive towards you, maybe out of jealousy or fear, you know, which jealousy probably is at the end of the day. The card that crosses you is the Justice card. You know, another thing that comes up is unfair relationships. Relationships where you're doing most of the heavy lifting, where you're the one making contact. You know, even in the initial stages, that Ace of Cups is the beginning stages of love. But in order for it to be something that is really the real deal, it has to be something where that other person is invested in you as well. You can't say, oh, I'm in love with this person, and yet you're the one that's always calling them, and they're always texting you, and they're acting like evasive. You can't pin them down. You know the drill. So it has to be mutual. And the Justice card in this challenging position may mean, are you in an unfair situation? Are you being properly compensated? Are you doing more than your fair share of work? All of these questions. This could be a Libra person. If you have a Libra person in your past that it didn't work out, this person may try to come back, or they may be still, you may still be dealing with them in some way, and it's kind of dragging you down. The advice, or what's coming in, is the Three of Cups. This is a card of socializing, of letting your hair down, taking time to relax with friends. This is a social energy. I think a lot of you tend to be like this anyway, but perhaps if you have just met a new person, you may be tempted to like just devote 100% of your time, your free time, to that person, and that's not necessarily a good thing. That could get you into a codependent relationship where, again, with the control. I say this, I feel like I need to say this to Pisces, because I think that this is a common thing, where you allow your partner to control you. And this is something that you have to, having your friends is very important, because those controlling people will try to separate you from your friends, and even your family too. And those are the dangerous ones, the ones that really try to isolate you. So please, if you've met somebody new, and the person may be the most beautiful person in the world, but don't neglect your friendships just because you found somebody new. For career matters, you may be collaborating. You may be networking, and you may have to do some, like let's say you work in a corporate environment, you may have to do a lot of schmoozing with clients, or it's actually like in I don't know, some kind of group settings, and that may just be something that you have to do in this time frame. The outcome is the Lover's card. It's pretty self-explanatory for romantic relationships. It's getting closer to a love partner. For sealing the deal, consummating the relationship. For business situations, it could be that you have to make a choice about something. You know, maybe it has to do with telecommuting. This card is connected to Gemini. It's possible that maybe you're thinking of going into business with somebody else. And the King of Cups is that other person. And that might be a good thing because you're both water signs and you both have the same temperament. And I feel like water signs can have their finger on the pulse of what it is that people want and be able to emotionally appeal to people. So that can be very good if you're launching any kind of business. But and anyway, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this, and good luck to you for the rest of June. Take care. Bye.